Hello. We're back for another exciting night of game development. Mostly sprucing up from the camera stuff. I know there's a lot that needs to be done. Also, yeah, we're kind of like on a second pass here of all the areas. I think I would really like to get some gibberish to put on this sign. I think that's what we really need. No, it's a upgraded webcam, as Dupa would say. Came up in his stream today. That would do a face conceal. And I went for it. Why is this? No, I don't want this. Why would I want the Discord overlay? No, absolutely not. Get out of here, Discord. Custom document. This does not need to be a high fidelity texture here. This is just some gibberish. I'm not even sure if I want to get... I'll get the tablet out. We'll do it. We'll get the tablet out and actually... It's rolled away. No, this one I've had it for years. Classic. Oh, Casual, I meant to ask if you had any input. I know at some point we want to get the soundtrack onto YouTube for people. I was wondering if you had any ideas about, like, if you want to do a dedicated channel for just this game's soundtrack. If you wanted to do, like, extended loops of each one. When you wanted to have those released, like, that could be like to drum up excitement for the game, or, you know, what's it gonna be? Extended for the shorter songs, yeah. The mix that I've got that plays on stream, it's a 10-minute loop of each one, so that you get the intro and the loop point, and then it just goes for a bit, which is nice. This gibberish here. See, that kind of looks like you could do something like a full language. I know I've tried before to see, like, oh, maybe we could make a whole alphabet. But like that, adding the little curved lines, it almost feels like it could be done. But now I want to see if we could maybe do something with that. Maybe. Oh, nice. Let's check it on out. good. So what I'm thinking, so I know one concept that has been thrown around is each chapter of the game has its own unique battle theme. I think what we might want to do is hold on to this one, and when we figure out which chapter it can go to, we adjust the instruments appropriately. To match whatever theme it goes with, if any. Or it can just be a generic one that's like, okay, well, we have one chapter that doesn't really have a great overall theme. Let's use this battle music for it. Because if you listen to... I'm going to pull up... it's a good loop point there. I'm going to pull up the remake OST, the battle themes of Thousand Year Door. Oh, this is a medley of it. Perfect. So check it out. I'm sure it's about to start. I don't hear it. Why did I not hear it? Oh, because I muted my own audio. Okay, that'll do it. Oh gosh, you can hear that Mario music. Yeah, Chapter 2 right now doesn't have a great unifying style. 'Cause I haven't really drawn anything for Chapter 2 at all. So that's like the Chapter 1 battle theme. And then when you get to Chapter 2... it's the same bones... Wait, hang on, is that, okay. That sounds like Origami King. I bet they did that on purpose. Okay, then Chapter 3. This is not a great mix. Yeah. Actually, now that I'm listening to that, they changed these up quite a bit more. It follows the same pattern, but... Oh, see, this one's really nice because in Chapter 4 they throw the theremin in, which is like Vivian's instrument of her theme, and it's her chapter, really. So it fits very nicely. So it's really cool how each chapter's battle theme sort of echoes the chapter a bit. That's why I'm kind of worried about getting too far into making these at this point, because there's really just not enough material to riff on yet. And then Chapter 5 is the Pirates, maybe? Yeah. The Tropical Island. And then Chapter 6 is the Train. Oh. Oh, it's dirty jazz. And then Chapter 7 is the Moon. Very techno-y. That's cool. Oh wait, this isn't even the Moon. This is just like the Far Outpost area. And then this is the Moon base. Yeah. All right, there you go. All right. Well, anyway, that was fun. So that's the idea there, is like it's the same basic song, but it's still its own distinct thing. But yeah, I like it. Like I said, we might change up the instruments once we find how it's going to fit into the chapter, like, you know, where it's going to go and what it's going to be used for. Different main battle theme. I'm game for it, as long as there is enough of the same DNA between them. Like, even if it's just that it dips into the same motif a bit, I need there to be some underlying connection between each one. If they do end up having their own, like, completely different melody and everything, that's fine. What will probably end up happening is I will want to extract that unique melody and make it a bigger, more important overlying theme in the chapter somehow. Like, make that sort of the theme of the partner that belongs to that area, or the town of that area, something like that. So that way we can kind of have it both ways. Let's see here. So what can we do without going crazy on... Could I make a little quick substitution alphabet that's not too absolutely insane? So, what do we do? What do we do? What do we say here? How do we define our... So, English alphabet, the Latin characters... Do it in Morse code. Do it in rapping Morse code. You know. There's S. Dash, dash, or no, that'd be O. And then S would just be... See, that is probably too obvious. A dot dash. Or a dash dot. Like, you could do something with that. But it might be a little obvious that everything's... Oh, this is interesting. All these glyphs have lots of dots. Isn't that noteworthy? I wonder if that means anything. But yeah, maybe like we use as our strokes. So Latin alphabet, you've got vertical, you've got horizontal, you've got some diagonal, and then you've got the occasional curves. It's weird stuff. And then very rarely, no uppercase dots to speak of. So, gosh, now there was a fake language in the game Tunic that was amazing because it wasn't just a letter substitution language. It was absolutely incredible. Never seen anything as amazing as it ever before, never will again. What was the pattern that it used? So it was like this kind of stuff going on. Oh yeah, and it had this or something. It would be like this. And the amazing thing was, so each glyph was a hexagon, which is a major thematic point in the game. So these were like where the strokes could be. The inner pieces, these inner pieces represented a vowel sound, and the outer pieces represented the consonant sound. So every glyph was actually a full pronounceable phoneme, or whatever the word is. Like, it was a syllable. So short words could be a single complicated glyph, whereas long words might be multiples strung together, doing some crazy shenanigans or something. And usually there would be like a single horizontal line just to kind of link it all together. And if, for whatever reason, you were in a word where the vowel sound came before the consonant sound, that would be represented by like a dot over the entire glyph. And that was it. That was the system, and it worked really well. It was really cool because they were able to do so much with it, because they had different fonts, basically, of like one that was very elegant, they had one that was extremely boxy, one was basically like, it looked like just cubes, like you wouldn't even realize that it wasn't just a series of cubes, but it's like, no, that's actually the runic language. The Trunic language. It was very, very neat. So, if we're gonna do an actual language, because we've tried this once before and it didn't work out great. But we would need to figure out the list of, how can the glyphs be constructed? What are the different possible strokes? And so we've got this early idea of like, okay, we could have like an overarch and an underarch and a line and maybe more lines. What else can we add in there? Little lines over lines, maybe under. Maybe the idea is you could have a line, you can have over it, you could have either a straight line or a curved line. Wait a second. Same for this. And then off to the side, you could have high or low. Like, that gives us a lot of different options. Do you even need the interior line? Like, could you go with just... Yeah, like, see, there's room to go. You could have, like, 1 dash or 2 dash, but you could only do that if you have... Oh, and you could do an under... Okay, hang on. There's a lot of different possibilities. Okay, so you have your general frame. In the top, you have either a horizontal line going across, under, a bow either way, or neither. Do you want to allow for like a swoop, maybe? Like we could swoop up, swoop down, swoop back, swoop back. That's 4 different swoops, 2 different arcs, and then just straight line. So that's already 7 possibilities, 8 if you count nothing, though I think we'll usually have something. So we got 7 possibilities there. And then under it, we can have a number of sort of symbols underneath the edges. I think it makes more sense to have, well, is that already enough? So assuming we have something here, whether it's an arc or a line or whatever, then underneath it, you've got 1, 2 spots. So that's 4 possibilities between nothing, 1 dot, and 2 dots. Also add in a vertical line as a possibility, but only if you have a dot. At least 1 dot. So we got 4 possibilities to start with, and then we add 5, 6, 7 possibilities for the lower side. So there's 49 symbols right there. Right away, 49 symbols. Add to that, how about number system? We go for lower line, and then if we want to cover all our digits, we would need what? Okay, so say that this is like 0. And then we can do long, short. We can't do long, long, or short, short, because we just have to say, oh, well, is that short, short, or is it a short version of a long, long? So it'd be ascending, descending, equal. And then some kind of, what about a lower glyph too? See, that gets fun. See, you could just go ascending, descending, equal. X. Ascending over a dot or ascending without a dot. How many would you need to be unique without getting too crazy? Numbers, we don't even have to worry about it because we're just doing gibberish for now. But I could see a number system being like even a binary kind of thing. Like short, long, long, short, long, and then boom, there's a 5-digit binary number right there. And then somehow you could do something with an alternate on the bottom, and now you've got some kind of complex numbering system. Like, actually, yeah, 2 to the 10th is 1,024. So if you did 5 tally marks to represent binary, then this size of symbol could represent the numbers 0 to 1,000 easily. Maybe, hang on, what about tertiary? Instead of, or ternary instead of binary. So we do like 0, 1, 2. Now that gets to be interesting. 0, 1, 2. Repeat that below, and you have 0 to 9. Or I guess, no, you have 0 to 8. Because you've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something like that. I don't know exactly what that would be. What would this be? 6, 7, 8, and then we're out of symbols. Oh, could you just not have like a special... Oh, what about 9? No connecting piece for 9. And there you go. Then you've got a 0 through 9 symbol just like that. That's silly, but it's workable. Okay, but our main thing is going to be a top glyph consisting of either a simple arc, an arc that swoops back, or a straight line. Consisting of 7 different possibilities there, and then the interior is what was our interior possibilities? What did we have again? I don't even remember. What did it have? Like nothing, something. Maybe let a line. 49 is excessive. If we have 7 at the top, then we only really need 4 possible symbols underneath. And also, I gotta remember that we can do underneath as well. So if we have 7 on top and 7 below, that's already 49. But we could wind up with shapes like this. Or like symmetrical stuff, which I'm not as huge on. But it's not awful. You get some interesting things. That could be fine. So let's see here. I've got a font sheet somewhere. I'm just gonna do. We're gonna make our Rosetta Stone. This is gonna be completely pointless. Cool. Probably move a little bit this around. Beautiful. All right, let's build us a very quick and dirty alphabet with this then. Vowels, of course, need to be quick and easy to make. So they may just be swoops. So let's see here. How about A looks like an A? Like a lowercase a. E can look like a lowercase e. So it's a upward pointing swoop going to the right. Lizard Party, Willow, heck yeah! U would probably be the opposite of E. So it would be this. I could be, we still have one swoop left that we haven't used. If we want to do that, we could do that with O. Using that shape swoop. And then I think it would be really funny if I looked like an I. So we'll do downward swoop with a line. Although that would make for a great T as well, it's fine. Okay. M. Let's make that dots with a line. Because it kind of looks that way. W could be the same, but inverted. Oh, M could even be... Hang on, M could just be upward swoop like that. That is vaguely M right there. W is a little bit harder to make work, though. It can be a sad face. I don't want a sad face in this. Not in my precious language. It's an upside down happy face. Haha. Okay, R. S. S is a swoop with a line or something. We're gonna make some overlaps accidentally. It's gonna be a huge pain. We don't need all of these even. F looks like an F. G. G is swoop. Dot. Should we allow upper lines? Like, is that something we can do? Because if it is, then we can make a much easier W. Sure. Why not? I do need a nice T, but I don't want it to just be the letter T. But upside down I is fine. We have our W. N. Nope, that's an R. New alphabet drop. It's looking great. It's totally original and nice, and not at all confusing. Needlessly confusing. I guess we need a swoop. There's so many different swoops here. All right, common letters, we can just use a nice swoop with a dot under it. Swoop with a single dot. So let's see here. Babel. Ow, that is, honestly, that's really good. That's really good. Now there's gonna be, if we're going to actually go in with like fake languages in this game, then there's gonna actually end up being 2, at least. So many layers, I love it. So I did that. Hoop with a dot. Squiggle dot. It's very close to N, but it's reversed. And it's also very close to U, but with dots. Okay, so that one, this one has been exhausted. What about this one? The one that's kind of as the shape of O. D uses that. So let's also have J be that with a dot over it. So now, other side, the one that looks like an E shape. We're using that anywhere? Just on E? Just on E so far. We'll have it for H. And I guess we'll have it for B. And then the last of these shapes would be line pointing to the right, going up like that. Shaped like the A. Doesn't look like we're using... Oh, we used it on S with a line below. Let's use it on P with a dash above. A dot, a dash, whatever. Okay, so now these are taken. Now let's do something more in the style of C. Downward facing hoop has been used for I and C. Upward is being used for T, and we can use it for K. No, that's a Y right there. That's definitely a Y. And that also serves nicely as being an easy to do one because it's a vowel. Okay. So we've said before we can do this sort of thing. We don't have many straight line ones, so why not a K? Like that. Q would be a nice curved line one similar to L or R. Well, those have kind of taken that one pretty well. We could do straight line, line under, and a dot. No? F and K are inverted. W has double dot on either side, so that's allowed apparently. Could have some irregular ones as well. It's not out of the question. Like a division sign, basically. Or even line under. Line over. And reverse. There we go. There's our alphabet. Wow. Now, why did we do that? Well, because... Did I accidentally just delete a layer? That's fine. It's because we're making the Frogtown sign. So the official letters for Frogtown would be straight dash R O G there's frog. And then T O W N. There's Frogtown. Oh, I love the Master Sword. Okay, so there is our basic script. Now, let's fancify it a little bit here. We make the letters interlock like this? No, we shouldn't. We should not. That does look pretty sweet, though, admittedly. Frog. Town. All right, now let's, next step. Let's get in here with the lasso tool and really do some silly stuff with these letters and get them, like, all up in each other's grills. What is the plot of the game? That is a great question. It does not have much to do with frogs, unfortunately. In short, the fabled City of Gears. It's a magical place where automatons scurried about doing who knows exactly what. But when you went there, you could present your dream to the dream machine therein. which could grant dreams or wishes or whatever. It will be abstract. It's fine. And then one day it just stopped. It just shut down, and no one knows why. And years and generations pass, and now the city is still sitting there, completely stationary, with a whole bunch of people living under it. What if... Oh, no, can't do that. Until suddenly, by some sort of stroke of chance, one of the robots reawakens and seems to be on a journey of some sort to collect the missing gears needed to power the dream machine once again. And along the way, a cat gets involved and doesn't really want to be part of the journey, but has to go along with it anyway because plot. Unwilling protagonist. Great trope. Tells art. Alphabet. Alphabet. And also save that as a PNG. So we've got a more available copy. And then take this and crop it. Should I make this white so I can do it on, let's do that. Let's actually change this to a white one so that we can mess with it. Frogtown text. So that we can control its exact hue with albedo. Hey, Abram. Can't wait to try out the demo. We're getting there. Okay, so I finally made a video about the game. Like, not a huge video or anything, but a video that, like, explains at a glance, hey, what is this game? What do I care? Who are you? Get out of my house. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Hold, please. Hold, please. There we go. All right. Right. I need to unmute the tab. Okay, here we go. So here we go. This is the video. You can send it to all your friends. I posted it on the Blue Sky. I posted it on Reddit. I actually got quite a few comments on Reddit about it. Yeah, this is gonna be good because this we did a raid a while back, and the person asked me like, "Oh, well, do you have anything do you have a video or anything you can show us of your game?" And I'm like, no. But now I do. The end. But this really points out all the places where we're missing sound effects and stuff. So there you go. So that's what that is. That's what that's for. We're gonna get people excited about it, drum up some hype, and then someday we'll actually release a demo. And everyone will be very excited about that when that happens. But it's not time for that yet. All right, let us grab the Frogtown sign and see how it looks on this Frogtown text. So it's gonna be in white for now. So we're gonna add a Sprite 3D. We're just gonna do Sprite 3D. Where is it? You might wonder. Well, don't worry about it. It's fine. Oh, it's flipped for one thing. Cool. All right. That is upside down. How can I tell? Don't worry about it. I can tell. That doesn't look half bad. I'm hoping it's not going to do any Z fight. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit more here, just to make sure. And now, let's see here. Frogtown, sign text. Let's change the modulation a bit. So we can go with like, because I made the text white. Oh, I love Toad's Turnpike. So let's grab this brown. Go for a darker, and we can go for a lower opacity so it kind of blends in a bit more. Not that low of opacity. Let's see how that looks. Make sure it doesn't do any weird parallax stuff or flickering. I don't really care for the low opacity. Now that I tried it out, can't say I loved it. That looks too harsh. Let's chill it a bit. Not, give me, not that. Darker. Definitely darker than that. Can't quite. Let's start with this one. What about like a bronze color? There's an idea. Like a coppery, bronzy. See, this is not bad right here. It's like, it's barely there. I like the idea of kind of more of a coppery, bronzy. Yeah. Let's bring it a bit more this way. Nope, too saturated. Do this, but reduce saturation. I think that's pretty good right there. It's like, okay, yeah, there's gibberish there, but it's meant to be, yes, this is a sign. And maybe I can go over and inspect it. So I'm down with that. Oh, I'm so glad we got that camera fixed. That is so much nicer. It's so much smoother. Okay. I have some notes about how we wanted to handle... Alright, okay, let's get rid of some of these. Note camera rewrite is good. We wanted to do something about... Okay. I wanted two frogs over here somewhere talking about the goings-ons across the bridge. Just kind of muttering to themselves. Is that a traffic bollard? So this is the chameleon stick. The problem is that I need to come up with a way to make something that looks very much like, hey, in the same way that the gears that are going to be everywhere, they're not literally going to be gears. They're just going to be, oh, it's a 6-sided circular thing. I can probably interact with that with the gear. I need something similar that it's like, oh, it's a red and white striped cylinder. That's probably for Leon. I need something to be like, oh, yep, be on the lookout. Yeah, I need the yellow paint for this lizard. So for now, it's a bollard. So these frogs are gonna be like somewhere around this watchtower, maybe? I need to deal with this watchtower because it has this problem. I could make it higher, but then you won't be able to see it. So the idea is there's gonna be 2 frogs near this bridge that if you talk to them, they will tell you about what's going on across the bridge, about the whole issue with this, make it all sticky. Make it all look like candy. Might give it like a shader outline glow or something, I don't know. So, there's gonna be 2 frogs, and if you talk to them, they will just flat out tell you what's going on across the bridge. If you don't talk to them and you try to head north, then they will talk loudly about what's happening across the bridge. And that's just what you're gonna be stuck with. Leon, get off of my head. Thank you. Something that we're going to need to implement at some point is tiny dialogue boxes. Thousand Year Door did this pretty well. Bug Fables did it, but it didn't feel finished. It was not quite there. And so you've got your main dialogue for when you're actually talking to a character or something. You talk to a character, and big dialogue locks you in place. You are watching this dialogue box. But the little dialogue boxes that would sometimes come up above individual characters' heads would play out independently of what you were doing. As long as you weren't actually talking to the person, they would have their own little dialogue box that they'd always be sort of murmuring to themselves. And this was great for having the effect of overhearing someone and then being interested in going over and talking to them. It was the effect of, it was like the game is narrating to you. You overhear these things being said, but the game never actually takes control away from you. I would like that, especially for the characters we're going to put over here. So we will need some characters to put over here. Guess they can just be regular frogs. Yeah, ambient speech bubbles. That's a great way of describing them. All right, well, let's do it then. Let's make it happen. How are we going to do this? So this is going to be its own system. Blah, blah. Dialogue box is going to be in the dialogue box is huge. We can use the same vague stuff that the dialogue box does. Can we? Is that okay? I think this could just be a smaller version of the dialogue box. There would be some changes to make with it. One is how it advances. Two is it needs to exist in space. It needs to be able to automatically exist in space, I guess. Does it exist in space, or does it overlay in the normal UI dialogue system? I believe that Thousand Year Door just kind of overlaid them. Bug Fables definitely did, because you could tell when the camera was moving while one of those dialogue boxes started, it would sort of not move with it. It's like it didn't have the capability of knowing where things actually were. So if I had an actor, a dialogue box is a 2D object. I really don't want to repeat this code about like brackets and parsing data and all that. So that's out. So this is a 2D object. We could wrap it in a viewport and then make that a 3D sprite if we wanted to create a dialogue box. And then we just need to, in the same way, all right, close out like everything here. In the same way that the UI owns a dialogue box, one that is already instantiated. And all you have to do is say show dialogue for it to come up. So that's not too bad. Now it expects there to only ever be one dialogue box ever. So it never gets removed from the game. The existing dialogue box is like a singular thing that is there forever. And that may not be a great way to do it. Like, it probably should be that it shuts down and creates a new one when you say show dialogue. That would probably be much cleaner. But I don't know, maybe not. Okay, so let's create a new, scene. We're gonna make it 3D? Are we gonna make it, hang on, are we making it 3D? If someone is far away, no, wait, let's think of this even crazier. If someone is, let's say, for instance, that you arrive at scene E here, and someone is in this building talking, like there's two frogs talking to each other. You enter this, you should be able to see the dialogue boxes, even though they are inside. The dialogue boxes should not be rotated, even though the frogs are, because once you go inside there, the camera will rotate, but you should see them flat from afar. The size of them, should it get bigger as you get closer? Visualize a text box here. I could see, yeah, you know what? I could see that the text box gets bigger as you get closer. And that kind of lends itself to saying, all right, this is a 3D scene. This is an actual scene here. Let's make a new folder for an ambient dialogue box. All right, create a 3D scene. Ambient dialogue box. So this thing is going to have a sprite 3D, and it's going to have a viewport, or a sub-viewport, which is going to contain a dialogue box object, but it's a different one than usual. So it's going to be weird. Wait, it's dialogue box new is the one. Dialogue box new. Which we should be able to just say, yeah, throw this in. So we'll have a script that modifies the regular dialogue box variables. So ambient dialogue box is going to have its own special script. It's going to know about the dialogue box. For now, we're not going to worry too much about this. This is going to be big. Let's just have it show a bunch of stuff for now. We are going to enable, let's see, disable 3D, transparent background, yes. Now the UI, all it has to do is take the dialogue box and hit show dialogue, and that's it. So we're gonna try and do something similar to that with our ambient dialogue box. When we are ready, when this thing is created, we're just gonna call show dialogue with a text box, no, and no. Show dialogue. Okay, we can leave choices as empty list. Actor is going to be null. All right, we're going to try adding one of these. I'm expecting it to break right away. But we're going to see what happens. Let's put one in scene D. Why not? Let's attach one to this frog over here. All right, it will probably lock up the game completely. Well, I heard text, and then it made me dismiss it. Oh, right. Well, this does not have the viewport texture yet, for one thing. New viewport texture using the sub viewport. Size of this thing can probably be quite a bit smaller. We're not going to have it do shadows. All right, let's see what happens with this much, at least. It's going to be in the ground. Hey, that's, you know what? That's a start. It made me dismiss it. That's actually better than I was expecting. Okay. Yeah, actually, that's pretty good already. I want to just be able to drag and drop these onto actors. So we're going to have the ambient dialogue box assume that there is perhaps an actor in the form of the parent. Well, let's do it this way. We know there's going to be a parent object. If parent dot has method, what do the parent objects have? Sure. I just want to see if it is an actor. Okay, if it is this, then it is an actor. Clear, actor is null. Okay, so that way it will point to it. If it does have that, then take our position and add to the Y value 2 units. And this is so that we don't have to manually position each one of these individually. Oh, didn't like. Unproject. The null value. Camera. You know, we've just recently made some changes to the camera stuff. So this may not be necessary anymore. Instead, camera can be camera handler dot camera. Well, that's too tiny, for one thing. Should it be scaled up? Oh, it can't project properly, for one thing. Because it is using the main camera. And it's trying to unproject a position that does not exist in the viewport. So appearance or pointing coordinate is just wrong. Just flat out wrong. So I should have some kind of override for pointing coordinate, because if I'm always placing these on an actor, then the pointing coordinate should always be the same. So let's do, what would this be? Like, okay, so let's say 800. Sure. So when we're setting up the plane coordinate, if point over coordinate does not equal, if we've actually set up a override, then use that. And then in here, we actually do want to set up that override of the dialog box equal to vector 2. We're going to go with 800 and see if that works. Vector 2. Vector. Checking that. Hey, all right, it is pointing to her. There's a weird box here, and I don't know what's going on with that. What is going on with that, actually? If I may be so bold. What is that box? There's some kind of transparency thing going on, I assume. Dialog box. All right, remote. Select NPCs. Dialog box. Okay. It is in the sprite, so it's in the dialog box somewhere. Oh, it's the stem mask. Why would that? Why would that do that? So it is just a box. It contains a texture. Do I need the stem mask anymore? Is the stem mask really necessary now that I think about it? It had a good reason initially that honestly is not that big of a deal anymore. So I think we could probably get rid of it. So let's pop in our animation here and see what we can do about this stem mask. Okay, so stem container. This is the one that gets rotated. So this one we still do need. So let's search for stem. Stem. Stem mask position is getting moved. And then that's it. Okay, so stem container can be the root object here. This is going to break the lower level stuff. But let's see how this looks. Okay, that's obviously not pointing in the right spot. Okay, so since that's not pointing in the right spot, let's fix it. What's wrong with it? It's got to be the position, right? Initially, stem container had a position of 480, -80. And the mask had a position of -256, 124. So by taking that away, -256. Whoop, not that far. All right, this is fine. We can just position it ourselves. It's fine. $250 would be fine. Okay, close. Rework this a bit. Stem container. What do we do with stem container? Anything other than rotation? We do mess with its position, apparently. Okay. What else do we do? And then it's rotation. That's fine. Scale is fine. All right, let's just try this much. See what we get. That's true. There's a lot going on in Frogtown. Much to be seen. Oh, that looks wrong. Not quite right, but we're getting there. Multi-tools. Okay, it's the stim container's position. It said 250. That's probably too low. Oh, Dupu, thank you for that lizard party. Let's say 150. All right, let's go 100. Gosh, a lizard party. So that looks fine. Now if I move over here. Yeah, it's still 22. Okay, so the reason I added the mask, and it doesn't make as much sense now that I have this rounded box, but it's because when this is fading out, you can tell that the bubble and the stem are two different objects, and they go transparent individually. And you get this freeze frame where you can kind of see through one and see the upper part of the stem. It's a little ugly, but it's not that bad. Also, that needs to be even higher than that, I think. Okay, so what do we got over here now? Great, test. Now, it disappears to the left. Why does it disappear to the left? The dismissing of the thing. Close dialogue. We go back to our appearance coordinates. Ah, our appearance coordinate, eh? Which is the unprojection business again. We're going to override that using the pointing coordinate. Shop, 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 shop. Well, it goes back, but it does some weird stuff. Oh, right. The viewport cuts off. Okay, okay. So that's part of it, is the ambient dialog box viewport is a little bit on the small side. That might be all we need to do to fix that part. Okay. She doesn't need to lock us up when she's doing that. That's the next piece, is these little ambient text bubbles need to just be ambient. They don't lock the user into place. So normally showing a dialog box, we don't end up making noise. And we're not technically in a dialog box. So I guess what we kind of need here is a separate property for is ambient. Oh, not dialog box. Is ambient. There we go. So if it is ambient, then we have to change a lot of things. Ooh, we have to be careful. Only do this... Don't undo it for not being ambient. Because we don't want you to be in the middle of a cutscene and then an ambient dialogue box comes up and flushes you out of it because I said, oh, well, if it's not ambient, then you're not in a dialogue box. No, we don't want that. Makes noise. Where does that come in? Okay, that's just by default true. We'll set that outside of it. Okay, that's already going to keep us from getting locked in, which is something. Or at least it should. Yeah. She's stuck, though. Her animation is stuck because she is stuck in a dialogue box. We should be able to override that. It's the talking portion of a dialogue. Dialogue boxes will set up whether or not the speaker is talking or not and play that animation or switch them to their idle animation. So we need some way to make it so that they can still do their walking. I guess only change them to the idle animation if they are in the talking animation already. So let's see here. Yeah, stop talk animation. Oh no, that says if current animation equals talk. Huh. That's weird. So it only changes you to idle if you are currently talking. Are we stuck in the talk animation, maybe? Let's see what's going on here. Yes. Which, that's weird, because I thought that only happened if we were making noise. But I guess that happens regardless. I guess that makes sense. It should happen until you reach the end of the sentence or something, or paused or something. Do talk animation. Stop talk animation. Let's try this. Print. Do talk. Print. Stop talk. I bet this is happening back and forth. Boy, it sure is. Then I clear her out of it. If I talk to this guy. Oh, no, no. Okay, this guy is only do talk. But when he gets to the end of it, he gets into a loop of talk, stop, talk, stop, stop, talk. Okay, so that has always happened, is that do talk is getting called even if the dialogue has stopped. So we need to change that. Where do we handle that? We should only do that if what? We only want to do that if we're actually advancing the text. But that should only happen if, probably down here. I want to do it when you're actually waiting for, okay, right here. What is this is holding for input? Oh, is that has hold for input? That is, yeah, that's a tag where we can pause text in the middle of a line and wait for the player to press the button to continue. So we're not really worried about that one. No, it is instead... yeah, this right here. This is the text that indicates, yep, we have run out of text. So we want to say, still have text to show. All right, let's see if that works better. And if now she can dance properly. Yes, she is dancing again. Finally. Okay, next up. What does this look like? Okay, it's too high. Let's lower it a bit. Just to make this a little bit nicer. Is it too small? Or too big? I think the text can be larger. Just because it's a tiny thing. It's a tiny box. It'll only be for tiny text. Where's our, we have small, big, and huge. Small, big, and huge, huh? Uh-huh, for the text scale. Default text scale is 0.35, so big is pretty good. What I'm gonna do, instead of all this, I'm gonna say, if is ambient, then text scale just automatically doubles, regardless of whatever it was. So that way we can still have size variation in these things. Yeah. Now this looks a little bit lopsided. Where is this positioned in relation to her? Or maybe she's just lopsided. It's really tough to tell what's going on. Okay, next up is, how does this loop indefinitely? No, they should be able to end, but maybe only by command. This one's gonna be weird. Because a lot of times these are going to be infinitely looping. Maybe I just have a special loop command for the dialogue. So that when you have this kind of thing going on, we can tell it, yep, we're good, start looping. Let's see. Also, we need to figure out how long to pause for an ambient. Because we could have it just immediately zip onto the next one. Oh, you are normally allowed to change how fast you advance. That is not allowed for ambient dialogue. They go at a set speed and you cannot change it. Okay, so here we go. If we've reached the end, if it's not auto advance, so it's always going to be auto advance is the thing. I think that's the easiest way to do it for ambient, is just, yeah, it's auto advance. Where is that? Is auto advance. Let's just set that right here. Now, it should automatically zip through her little test 1, test 2 dialogue. It does. It's not supposed to make noise. Make noise is false. What's going on there? Who's setting make noise to true? Oh. That's just the default. Okay, well, stop it. Apparently setting that here does not do anything because it gets automatically unset. Like signs do not make noise. People do. Okay. So that should automatically do page 1, page 2. Oh, but then it holds, even though it's auto advance. Hey, what happened? I thought you were auto advance. Is something... Ah, this right here. Okay, fine. Yet another thing that I can't do from here. Okay, so it's going to do test 1, test 2. And then we need some way to get it to optionally loop the messages. Oh. Why did it? Oh, I guess we have to do this initial. Oh, well, you know what? We can just do this. How about that? Initial setup here. I guess I need some kind of ability to set the ambient pause at the end of each message. Now, I don't want it to keep going indefinitely. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't want it to keep, like, appending to a list. That would be silly. So we've got we've got text blocks. We initialize page data. And then page data keeps track of... we got our current page data. Don't we have like a page index or something going on? Current text block index, yeah. Well, okay. Supposing I had a loops, maybe, or something. Let's just start with using isAmbient. And when you advance the text, current page data. What's going on with that? What's going on with that? Start advanced text. Yeah, so after you advance, we advance to the next page. If there is more, then do this. What we're gonna say is we're gonna say if it is ambient. Later, this is probably gonna be an is looping. If it's ambient, then wrap back around. Let's see if that works. That may not work. We're going to find out. I want this to loop, but it doesn't have to. Test 1, test 2, test 2, test 2, test 2, test 2. Okay. Close. Huh. Not what I expected to happen there. Let's try setting it to -1. Okay, yeah. Cool. So now she will do that indefinitely, which is good. Sort of good. I think we can go smaller on those ambient text boxes. Yeah, that looks fine. You can see it from afar because we've got the text doubled in size. Oh, she's on my head. So I want... to have a default pause at the end of each page. I guess. Let's see here. Pause. Okay, so that happens when you are processing. So we need to add that about at the same time we add our built-in pauses for periods and commas and question marks and exclamation marks. Do we do exclamation marks? We do exclamation marks, yes. So if is ambient, then just add a nice little pause tag at the end. And we're going to replace that with something that's parameterized. Oh. Huh. Try a space after that. I think it's getting cleared before... There we go. I like it. All right, cool. So let's make that parameterized. This is mostly going to be used for ambient, but it doesn't have to be. Default page end pause is 0. We're only going to do this if it's greater than 0. There we go. And now for ambient dialog boxes specifically, now we can set it to a 5-second wait at the end of them, but it can be configured. In fact, let's make that a variable. Pause per page in milliseconds. Let's say 3,000. Okay. And so now we can set that up for each individual dialog box, but we'll default to a 3-second. So that we could have someone that is like being interrupted constantly, like in the middle of an argument. And their delay might be much shorter because they keep getting cut off, is the idea. Okay, the next thing. When you actually engage in conversation with this person, we need to be able to close the dialogue box. Haven't you ever seen a ping? Oh, and I guess we need is looping to be a property on this. So far is looping, which by default will be false. There we go. Now it's is looping that matters. Because we want to be able to have these that we position manually in the scene, but we also want to have these that we can instead like display during a cinematic or something. Okay, the next thing we need is the dialogue. This we're gonna pull from the conversations system. So we're gonna do it with an actor code. Ooh. Is that how we're gonna do it? Existing actor code does not actually give you just a list of strings. It gives you an action. So this is different. This is a little different. But I still want to have it in here. We could have get ambient or something. Hang on. Do I want to be able to link this in some way to the actor in question so that if that actor ever has to start talking in a real conversation, we can close their dialogue and then later bring it back up? Because currently this happens on ready. So what we probably want is a show ambient dialogue, which does all this stuff. And that gets called initially, but we can later change it so we can call it by something else. But I do think we want to have some kind of system in place that detects, hey, this actor is currently in a real conversation, so stop it. How do we do that? Is that a process trick? Is that... What would that look like? It could be that it's like a conversation thing. That whenever we grab the conversation, we check to see if that actor has an ambient dialogue box, and if so, set it to close, and then when the conversation ends, turn it back on? Conditionally? Because I could see situations where you don't want it to turn back on. Ugh, this is one of those problems where I'm trying to come up with a solution for something before I have seen the problem. That's rough. it shouldn't be too hard to find the ambient dialogue for any given actor, because in our conversation system we could say like because we already know the actor in question, and we can get actor by code, and so we could say, all right, have like a helper function that is, all right, pause their ramblings at this point, and it just immediately closes that dialogue box, but then can bring it back up. So we can put that in our convo function. Yeah, so let's try that. Let's make a function called close ambient dialogue that takes in an actor. So we have an actor object like frog actor princess. We want to look for any child that contains the show ambient dialogue. Let's also add a close ambient dialogue function here. Let's see here. Children find the one that has a show ambient dialogue method. And if you find it, then call the, what did we call it? Close ambient dialogue. And that's it. So now we have this. So let's, in our princess frog dance. We are going to call convo funcs dot close ambient dialogue, bind that to the actor. So make sure to do that before she starts talking for real. And what does that look like? Dialog box dot, I'm sure there's just a closed dialogue. Which, yeah, that just destroys it. Do I need to do on dialogue done? What even is on dialogue done? Ah, done timer. Oh yeah, it's gonna be advanced text. Start advanced text, but if there's nothing left, then you just call complete advanced text. That increments the text block and then calls close dialogue. So this base, this right here will call dialog box.close dialogue, and maybe that's enough. All right, so our goal here is to see the ambient dialogue stop when we go talk to her. It did, but there she goes, and I'm still here. Okay, well, oh, I see. Because we close dialogue does a few different things. Done timer. On dialogue done, we set conversation step active. I'm right here, Willow. I'm right here. No, I'm pretty sure Dabble is the robot. only do this stuff if that. Okay, so that should fix that, hopefully. I mean, a while back. I guess it's starting to grow back a little bit. Okay. Did not like what I saw there, with that appearing suddenly. What's up with that? Oh, that's the dialogue box closing again. She's had a tutu and has been loving it. So I need to allow her to resume her ambient conversation. So let's have a resume ambient dialogue function. For the actor. Resume. Okay, instead of close ambient dialogue, we're just gonna do show again. Oop, that's an error. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, she loves her tutu. Okay, so she's just murmuring to herself. Then we come up and talk to her. And then she goes back to, oh, but, but it gets higher and higher every time. Great. Love it. Hilarious. I know why it's doing that, at least. Equals 1.0. There we go. Very silly. Okay. Now I can talk to her. Yay! Okay. So now we can have that working. Now we need it to be not just test dialogue. We need it to be something we can provide instead of this. So where does that come in? So it just needs to be a list of an array of strings and nothing else. Yuck. Because this is where I want to eventually push these out to a file that we can index quickly. Which is gonna be a nightmare. Like, how will we do that? How can we do that? What are the problems with that? Okay. All right, let's have our little to-do list in here. Okay, so moving to a flat file for text. Why? Easier to view all dialogue in fewer files. Easier to later swap out translations. That's a big one. That's a really big one. Because the idea is we'll have all our English script in one file, and then, you know, let's say the game blows up for some reason, kaboom. and now we need it in Spanish and French and Portuguese and everything else, then we just send that file out to some sort of service and receive back a translated version that we can just plop right in the game, and boom, there's the alternate version. Easier to swap up translations. That's why we want to do it. So how? Or let's look at considerations. We need to be careful about. We want the file to be flat text, not a code file with an array of strings. Secondly, okay, indexing. Consider a file that's like, hello, this is message 1, and this is message 2. And then in our code, we're like, all right, this guy over here, I need him to use message 1 and then say message 2. It's like, all right, that's great. But as we keep changing the script and say, all right, now he also says, in between that, he says this is message 1.5. Oh, Day owns the thing. Well, now I have to go in here. This is still line number 1, line number 2, and line number 3. So my new ordering is 1, 2, 3. But now, oops, I bumped down. Let's say I've got this other guy. Let's go back to how it was here. All right, so I've got message 1, 2, and 3. I've got one guy that says message 1 and then 2. I've got another guy that says message 3. I want to change this guy's script so that he starts by saying this is message 1, but then he says this is message in between. So this is a problem because now this is number 1, this is line 2, this is line 3, and this is line 4. Now I have to update my code. I can't just say, oh, add 1.5 in here. It's like, no. That's not line number 1.5. That's line number 2, and then 3, and now I have to go down and renumber everyone. That's awful. We're not doing that. That would suck. So we need some way of labeling lines in some way. What does that look like? I have no idea. It's almost like I'm gonna have to build some sort of custom format. This has to be a solved problem. But I imagine that the way it is solved is very specific to the use case. My guess is that every single time that this is being done for an indie game, it's a whole new take on it. Because some games don't need, like, complicated stuff, you know? Now, there's some built-in translation system, I think, in Godot, where you can provide it with a list of, oh, replace these strings with those strings, and it does that for all text labels and whatever else. That may be good for UI stuff, but I can't imagine that's a good thing to do for, like, RPG conversations. So we're probably not going to do that. Okay, so... So what would be a good solution then? It would be something like... Like, I give a number, like a dedicated description. Like chapter 1, room A, frog shirt. I give a description similar to what I'm doing with the actor codes. I'm already doing that with actor codes. But then it's like, and then it's convo 1 or whatever, because maybe like he has different things to say depending on the chapter or other progress flags. But like we give some kind of dedicated pattern that the code doesn't care about, but it's just for internal organization. We just keep it straight of like, okay, he's in chapter 1, room A. It's the frog with the shirt. And then his conversation 1. And like a lot of these guys will say, like the ballerina frog, she has initially 2 pages of text, but they're distinct. She says thing 1, then you press continue, and then she says thing 2. And then if you go back to her, she'll instead say thing 3. Do page breaks need to be somehow part of this? Like, could a conversation look like this? Like that is, so this would be, what did we call her? 01D frog dance, convo 1. And then you'd have convo 2. Like that. And then in the code, instead of having this setup, you would say get convo list by ID and then pass in an ID. And that's how you would actually map it to this right here. That is doable. The idea that it would always be delimited by these things. But now we have a new problem. That's going to get to be a huge file. Like this is an RPG with lots of characters to talk to. So, well, hang on. Modern hardware. Let's not get too much in the modern hardware trap, but we're not running this on a Nintendo GameCube. We could have a 10,000 line text file and parse through it pretty darn fast. I don't want to keep the whole thing in memory, but maybe we could like page it out, even by chapter. Like if we say, okay, all the chapter 1 conversations are here, all the chapter 2 conversations are there, then we don't have to open this 10,000 line file. We open a 1,000 line file at a time, or just keep a 1,000 line file in memory. Something like that. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Okay, actually, for a performance standpoint, that's not a bad idea. Is load up a chunk of all possible things that can be said, keep it in memory, and then when another thing is requested, if that page is in memory, grab it from memory, and if not, clear out memory and for the sake of keeping the RAM usage a little bit lower, but it does mean an immediate hit to disk read. So that, it's doable. It's doable. It's not great, but it would work. Okay, And that saves us on the indexing. We don't have to number individual lines. We just say, hey, say this on one page, say this on the next page. And that way, if it's necessary for whatever reason, different languages can add page breaks at different points if we need to do that. I think that might be decent. What else do we have? And we can have some generic strings that are like, okay, this is a shared string. We're going to be using this all over the place, like yes or no. Because it seems very silly to have a million different instances of the word yes in our code, where we're going to have to do a disk read to check, like, hey, how do we say yes in this language? Yes. It's yes. And these will include the BB code, the pseudo BB code. So it would look like this for Frog House. And we could say that, all right, empty lines will get ignored so that we could actually keep it cleaner with empty spaces. I could have a dedicated comment. Why did I say semicolon? Not, well, I don't know. What do we say? Percent. There'll be some specific special character for marking, hey, this is the start of a thing. And a different one for, okay, this is just a comment block to indicate a change or a note for translators or something. Okay, I'm actually okay with this as a solution. Now, from that, what does that mean as far as ambient dialogue goes? It means that I'm gonna have something like frog dance dash ambient, and it'll look like that. Okay. And so I'm going to have a completely different way of reading it than what I do for this. So this, once we move over to this system, where we've got these big files for all our dialogue, this will still be an important file because it'll handle things like the flow of conversation for things like, okay, when do we do a choice? When does an action happen, like camera changes, looping through conversations based on progress flags, all of that stuff. So this will still be important. It's just not going to have the raw text. It's going to, we're going to have a little helper function to swap out, hey, grab text number this. So that's not too bad. And that leaves the question then, okay, how do I grab the appropriate dialogue for a specific actor? Because that will probably not go through Chapter 1 conversations. I imagine there will be some sort of helper class that manages all of these conversation script sheets and actually handles the reading of the data, when to dump it from memory versus like loading a new one. And we can basically capture all of that complexity in that one class and have it be really stupid to start with, but easy to make. And then as it grows and becomes a big monster of multiple files, then we start worrying about memory management and how to deal with all of that. So I think that's the big... Weirdly enough, I think we're going to want to start tackling that. Yeah, this was all in service of just getting some characters murmuring things while you walk around. But yeah, I think that's not what we want anymore. I think we want to go full in on setting up the new conversation system. We can do a tiny bit of it tonight, but not very much. Let's see here. So that's going to be menus, conversations. We're going to create a new script entirely. Yeah. Is this like text mapping? What are we gonna call this? This is because we're going from codes to text arrays. Well, we'll call it the conversation handler. Do we want this to be an auto load? I think I do. And I don't think conversation is the right thing for it, because I think it will also handle a handful of UI items, maybe? Not much, but like a few dynamically swapped out strings here and there. I don't want to straight up call it the translation handler, because it's going to do a lot more than just that. It will eventually be responsible for swapping out different translations, but that's going to be a pretty minor piece of what it's actually doing under the scenes. Text, not text handler. I mean, it could just be text string handler. Script, dialogue script handler. I don't like that either. Text script handler. Sure. Fine, it's the text script handler now. Are you all happy? Look what we've done here. Unbelievable. Now we have the text script handler. Okay. So, this thing is going to handle... this is going to get lines. And it's going to take in a code. And it's going to return an array of strings. Simple as that. How is it going to do that? Well. All right, we're going to replace this chapter 1 conversation stuff. Actually, Actually, it probably doesn't even need to be in conversation anymore. This feels like it's a bigger thing. Oh, notes. That's where the notes go. Menu, scenes, it's not really just the menus, but I can see why I would want to put it in the conversations near the dialogue stuff. So, sure. Let's have a folder for the raw scripts. And I think for now, we're just going to put it in one. Raw text 1.txt. Sure. So the idea is we're gonna have comments. And in actual text sections must begin with the appropriate conversation code in the formats. What is the format? $? We can do $. No. Godot uses $. At seems good. That's annotation. That's fine. So it'll look like that. I want this to be nice and easy to read, and it will never. I want to make sure I choose a character that will never actually kick off the start of a line. That's probably good. Empty lines will be ignored. Okay, I think we can do something with this. It's a little silly, but I think it can work. Okay. So we're gonna try this here with Frog. We're gonna let Frog Shirt be our starting point. So it's gonna look like that. Convo 1. And we can optionally skip a line here. And do that. Now, it would be nice. This is a nice to have that we can think about just because it would be so nice. Previous talk count. This is probably going to be a very common thing in the game where you will talk to a character once. They will say one block of text. You will talk to them again without leaving the room, and they will say a different thing. If you come back to the room later, they will go back to their original thing. Is it worth having a way to grab that as a list of lists? Because that's what we want it to be. Is that worth doing? To be able to have like a this sort of thing. To be able to block out the text immediately and say, hey, this is going to be the first thing he says, and then if you talk to him again, he will say this, and then maybe other thing. That would make it very quick to write out scripts. Kind of have this as like a beat panel of like, now you got to talk to him again. That could be good. Is it worth it? Is it useful? It is useful. It's definitely useful because that's a common thing that we're going to be doing. We'll do it like this. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. And then our text script handler say, all right, you want to get lines for this. This is going to be our sample code. So what we need to do temporarily, again, this is not how this is going to work when we start really expanding this file. We're going to be a little bit fancy. We're going to handle multiple files and being able to smartly switch which one is loaded, free up the memory, let the garbage collector take care of stuff, all that stuff. But for now, we're just going to load up this big old text file and leave it in RAM while the game is running. And that's that. That is that. File path. Oh, great. File path. It's not... Yeah, it's not... Yeah, there we go. Now, I know I've done file path stuff, right? Preferences. Preferences. Loading files. And then this is how you do what? Config file, get download. Oh my gosh, Germ Dove. Welcome in. Germ Dove, how was Necrodancer? Sponsored stream, professional streamer, Germ Dove, our streamer, Germ Dove. It certainly is one of the Necrodancer games. Ah ha, yes. That would do it, huh? Get value, section key. What is... Oh, there's dedicated code for config file stuff. Oh, I see. Oh. Well, I don't want that. And boy, are your fingers tired, huh? Okay, I don't want to do config load. I want to do actual file load. Well, tonight, and actually I'm about to wrap up because time change is going to happen soon, so I need to be getting to bed earlier and earlier. Let me show you what we got, at least. For one thing, we've made a fake language. It's just text substitution glyphs, but also we have ambient dialogue now. Isn't that something? Look, she's just talking away. They are. This says Frogtown. You can tell because of all the frogs. Just talking, and then stop her, and then she'll do that, and then she'll go back to doing her test 1, test 2. Now, because of the nature of how we're getting this text, we are about to embark on a scary project, which is actually moving dialogue into dedicated files. Files that don't have code, it's just raw text. And it's gonna be a treat, let me tell you. It will not be a tonight thing. But we got it started, which is the important thing. Got our foot in the door. Seems like a lot to keep track of. Gosh, doesn't it? The thing is, the existing solution is awful. The improved solution is not going to be much better, but it's going to be on the right track at least. Because we still need code to handle, you know, hey, when you talk to this actor, not only what do they say, but what happens. There's got to be camera controls, and progress flags have to be updated. There's a lot to it. For a lot of the cases, it's as simple as, hey, when you talk to this, say this. You know, when you look at the sign, display this text. That's all well and good. And maybe eventually we can get to the point where we don't even pass through one of these files at all. We just put that right on the actor. You know, you go to the sign, wherever we put that. Where did we put that? Right there we go. You go to the sign, interact zone. That's the one. And instead of it being a thing with an actor code, how does this work? How does this work? It's just a dialogue zone. How does it know it's a sign? Oh, it's looking up the name of the container there. Yeah, so instead of being that, it'll do another thing. It'll be a whole thing. Huh. Yeah, interact zone, interesting. Yeah, a little bit. But the point is, instead of like this going off into a different thing, like maybe I could put it right here and just say, yeah, go to pull up the script for that sign right here. And I don't have to go through a code or anything. It'd be great. That's the plan. That's the dream. We're gonna get there eventually. Okay. Well, I'm done. Because I would love to just really strip this code down. But it does have to do a lot. It's got to manage progress things and all this other stuff. So it's got to be busy, but it's gonna get better. And also, I think we might end up having 2 separate fake languages. One very simple and one very complex. Tonight we drew out the simple one. Simple substitution, but with fancy squiggles to really make it nice. I'm still not fully satisfied with the color, but it's okay, because it doesn't even need to be legible. It just needs to be like, oh, there's text on the sign, and then you can go read it if you want. It's fine. All right. Willow's on, doing Mario. That is good with me, because I'm about to go down for bed. I'd say we made progress. Oh, and if anybody didn't see it, we have a preview video. I'm not really calling it straight up a trailer. It is a preview trailer. But it's not like what would go on the Steam page. It's more of just something to show people when they ask, hey, what's your project? Be like, bam, check this out. Wow, cool. So I'm glad I got that out of the way finally, because I've been meaning to do that for a while. Oh, yeah, of course. Definitely. Well, anyway, see ya. I'm gonna go to bed. Everyone have a good night. Thank you for hanging out. Germdove, thank you for the raid. Everyone else, thank you for the various lizard parties. What a blast. Yeah, I'll be back on Sunday. Bye.